Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given to the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and a regular meeting on Tuesday, May the 4th, 2010, at 5:10 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Workshop item A, University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College, Go Green Center.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'd want to welcome Mr. Ricardo Gonzalez, who works with the University of Texas at Brownsville, Texas Southmost College, Go Green Center. Ask Commissioner Gowan to support the workshop to hear what's going on in Brownsville about this Go Green Center that's really affecting the construction industry and basically the advocacy that's taking place and the outreach throughout the city of Brownsville through this one office. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of hear from them and see all the wonderful things that they're doing. So, Mr. Gonzalez.
City Commissioners, thank you for having us here today. My name is Ricardo Gonzalez, again, Program Director of the UTB TSC Go Green Assistance Center. Behind me with me is Mr. John Sassi, which is the Director of the International Innovation Center, and has also been a big part of the Go Green Center since its inception. When you called me, Mr. Camarillo, you wanted me to give a brief overview of the Green Center, what we're doing out in the community, and as well, I have here a 14-minute video that we'll present so you guys can get a better view of what we're doing out there.
Thank you.
The main purpose of the center is awareness, forming collaborations with experts in the areas of green. The center provides trainings, workshops, and community outreach by the support of staff, faculty, students, and partnerships. Before showing this 14-minute video presentation on the UTB-TSC Go Green Assistance Center, I would like to comment briefly what we're doing in the community in regards to Brownsville's plastic bag ordinance that will be coming in effect January 1st, 2011. We have been going out to the Brownsville Housing Authority community meetings and presenting a PowerPoint presentation in Spanish on the effect of using plastic bags in our society and environment. Towards the end of the presentation, we mention about the ordinance, and we give out 3 reusable bags per family with a flyer on what can be recycled and where they can recycle here in Brownsville. The community centers that we have done our presentations are the following: Brownsville Housing Authority Headquarters, Villa del Sol, Citrus Garden, and Buena Vida. So far, our total impact has been more than 200 housing residents. This 14-minute video they are about to see shows some of our partnerships that have contributed to the center, training in the center, and as well as our community outreach. Do you mind playing the video, please?
The Community Development Corporation of Brownsville, or CDCB as known in the community, is a private nonprofit that's been operating in Cameron County and Willacy County for the past 37 years. Our mission is to build affordable housing for low-income folks, for first-time home ownership, as well as doing rehabilitation work in the colonias and rural areas. The Youth Build program is a very unique program which allows us to help high school dropouts who have, between the ages of 16 and 24, who've realized they made a mistake, and getting back into school would be their best bet to finding a job. We allow the students to go to school for 20 hours a week, where they work toward their GED, and the other 20 hours a week they're on the construction site helping us to build homes for our applicant families. This program over the last year has taken a drastic change into the green building systems. We have changed our curriculum to teach these students about the green building ideas, placement of house, the materials, so that when they graduate they have actually a green building certification. One of our first projects was right here in the Go Green Center, where we helped to build a model home and all the different aspects of green and building green, teaching the students how to put them together, how to use them, and why they are important. We've now taken these ideas out to the construction site, and every new home that we build in Brownsville now is at least Energy Star certified, and the youth build students are learning how to do that and be a big part of that. CDCB's contribution to the Go Green Center is this home that sits behind me. It's actually a home that we split wide open, and you can walk through the home and see the different aspects of green building. The unique thing about this home is that it was built from the perspective of an affordable homeowner, somebody who is not able to buy some of the more high-end, big dollar things that are out there for energy efficiency, but really what things that you could buy right off the shelf at your local hardware store or Lowe's or Home Depot. If you take a look at the shingles at the top and the different roof systems, we did different colors of shingles, as well as the different type of plywood that we use in construction, as well as the metal roofing. As you go through the process, you see how the home's built and the different green style that's in the home, different green systems that are in the home, and then the different materials used to emphasize energy efficiency. In our climate, the cool weather not being very often and needing to kind of cool the house down, we have the different colored shingles, and then the metal roofing here at the back, as well as on the siding of the house. We have the hardy plank siding or the cement siding is what we refer to, and then the different styles that are available to homeowners. Again, things you can buy right off the shelf at your local materials store. This kind of siding is better because it's cement. It doesn't rot. It doesn't peel when it needs to be painted. And it's a great use of material. Well, right now we're inside the Go Green Center home, and one of the great aspects about this house is that from this end of the house you can see the interior of the house. I don't mean just the interior of the house, but inside the walls and what's needed to build a green home. For example, here we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of insulation, all the way from foam insulation to batt insulation to blown-in insulation, things that are made from recycled Levi's, the front of the insulation, the back of the insulation. It just shows the different ways that insulation can be put in and the proper way to put insulation in, which is also very important and is able to be demonstrated here. As well, we've used metal studs in here. Metal studs is something that's brand new coming to the Rio Grande Valley, and this is able to show the use of the metal stud. We've also had engineered studs, which are actually taking pieces of wood that were recycled from a lumber mill, and if they're less than 3 feet, then we're able to buy them engineered, which means that they're finger jointed together and they're actually stronger than your standard studs. They're not used widely here in the Rio Grande Valley, but we're trying to educate people on the use of these. It's a better use of wood, it's recycling, and it goes a long way. As well as in the ceiling, if you look in the ceiling, we have the barriers here and how to install the insulated barriers, as well as basically using engineered trusses. A lot of people don't believe that this is a green building, but you're not using 2x6s or 2x8s, you're using 2x4s to build your roof, which is again the use of less lumber. So all of the things in here, sometimes it's so basic, but when you put it all together, it's a green home. And that's what's exciting about the Go Green Center, is educating people that it's not as hard or as difficult or as scary or even expensive as it normally would be, as you would think it would be. But it's actually stuff right off the shelf and things that you can get a hold of. In this section of the Go Green Center, we worked on the different type of plumbings and the use of water efficiently in the home. The first piece here is the tankless water heater. The tankless water heater is a great product for each home, where you're only using the hot water that you need at that point, instead of heating water continuously, whether through electricity or through gas, and the water is always ready to go hot in your tank and sitting there whether it's used or not. The tankless water heater, it's cool until it's heated right before use. So it's a great energy efficient product. The PEX plumbing system is also a new system within the last 5 years here in the Rio Grande Valley, and the use of both polyurethane and distributing the water, as well as having a manifold system here, which goes directly, each of these pipes goes directly to a system in the home, whether one's to the bathroom or to the kitchen. If you need hot water, it goes directly to that spot, instead of going throughout the whole house before it gets to the bathroom or through the whole house before it gets to the kitchen. It goes directly there. This manifold system also allows you to turn off a section if you care to, which also helps to use water better and more efficient. There's just so many items here in the Go Green Center for people to learn about. As I look around, I just see the little tiny things that are extremely important. However, we just don't give a second thought to. I mean, this is the Stens Armor Plus drywall. It's all over here. It's to help mold and things like that. It's a great thing, as well as just the little things like insulating where the plumbing vent went through the engineered studs here. Those are items that you really wouldn't think about, but by adding that in there makes the house more energy efficient and more green at that. You can walk through this great example of a green home and see the many different aspects. Everything from the kitchen cabinets to the bathroom cabinets to the toilets and the plumbing fixtures to the drywall to the roofing system, the trussing system. It's all here. And it's affordable. It's affordable for everyone who is looking to improve their home or build a new home. And the Go Green Center is a great educational tool for the city of Brownsville to utilize and to learn from.
Our company is a nonprofit corporation. We design energy efficient, affordable homes. We work with government funding to provide housing for low-income families, qualified low-income families. We have a program that it's a self-help program that allows the family to come in and invest hours of sweat equity, hours of construction labor into their own home. Therefore, this paneling system is fantastic for this purpose because it's easy to handle, it's lightweight, and it's fast. It's a fast process to building the first steps of construction, which is the perimeter of the home. We sell a home that is extremely energy efficient because of the K-Tech system, among other materials that we use that are also energy efficient.
I'd like to take a minute to just talk about a little bit of what's coming up in the future here at the Go Green Center with Ricardo, John, and Apple Energy Group. The center has a unique opportunity to help us deliver weatherization training to individuals throughout the valley here and offer far higher levels of training in regards to weatherization. Apple Energy Group is a provider of BPI, Building Performance Institute certification training. We have proctors within our staff. We have trainers who have been training for years. And the partnership here with the Go Green Center allows us to offer these opportunities to men and women in the valley areas here to enhance their education, enhance their knowledge and understanding of weatherization work, and prepare them for the career that's beginning to take off in the weatherization industry. Here at the Go Green Center, we have lots of opportunities that we don't have in many of our training locations throughout the state. We have walls that have been cut back and covered with a clear fiberglass so we can look at the different types of insulation that are used in weatherization work, what their purpose is, what the outcome of using these different types of insulation are, the difference between radiant barriers, air barriers, thermal barriers, and boundaries. We have the ability to set up blower doors like what's being done behind me here to teach the student how to properly use the equipment that we use in the field of weatherization. The center is just the optimum training resource and training location for this type of work. The Go Green Center offers something that's really unique for our training needs. Behind me, gentlemen are putting up the blower door. The blower door measures air leakage so that we can properly calculate in a house what the air leakage is based upon the building tightness limits that the state has established with DOE as what's a healthy air exchange every hour in a home. The blower door allows us to locate leakage within a home and exaggerates those leaks so that we can go in and have the installers come in and do caulking or whatever measures necessary to reduce that leakage to a level that's acceptable to make a home more energy efficient.
That it's very important that the students understand what is inside of a wall and what goes inside of a house and how those different components and assemblies come together. Not just, on paper it just looks like two lines, but there's no detail involved in a set of plans. Students were able to come here, analyze the materials, look at the different phases of construction that is displayed here in the center, and basically understand why a wall is 4 inches thick. So this center plays a huge role for our students in terms of understanding the reality of what it is, not just conceptual aspects in design.
I'm a recent graduate of the School of Architecture of Notre Dame, and I'm LEED accredited. I had never seen anything like this before in the area, and because of my interest in sustainability and in creating a greener built environment, I was immediately drawn to it. And it was really nice because at first I wanted to volunteer, and it became a job for me, and I started here, and I learned a lot too, because with the mock house that's in the center, you can really see all the pieces that come together to build a house and to build a green and sustainable house.
We did 6 elementary schools with the grades of 5th, and some first graders as well.
We also went to the Children's Museum and to the Gladys Porter Zoo, where we gave out a few presentations there.
Our overall impact, we presented to over 500 kids and a few parents and teachers. Yeah, it was really rewarding to be able to help our planet, to help the environment, to be able to teach the kids something that it's really important. So I think I can speak for all of them that we really like it, we enjoyed it, and we would like to do it again.
And also it was also a great experience for ourselves. We ourselves learned a lot. What we were teaching to the kids, we were learning it ourselves too, and it was kind of like go home and teach your parents how to recycle. But in our lives, in our personal lives, we were teaching ourselves how to recycle, and we were teaching ourselves more about saving home energy. And so it was a program where we were teaching the kids so that they can make a difference, but we were also teaching ourselves so that we could make a difference.
Yeah.
Well, that gives you a brief overview of the Go Green Center, and I really hope you have an opportunity to visit us pretty soon.
Ricardo, I appreciate you again taking the time to come before the commission and present. I wish I could say I've been out there, but I haven't. But you and I are I'm gonna go see you guys real soon. Again, I think it's very, very important the message of what the Go Green Center does. Again, when people aren't building homes right now, there are other ways and means to make income. And I think over the past year and a half or so, many of our contractors and business folks have had to do otherwise. So again, this is just one of those opportunities that's helping them, helping the whole market, and again, help people have some jobs in the green area. So I appreciate everything you all are doing, and Mr. Sassi, thanks for the leadership that you all provide. Thank you.
I have a question. What are your hours? If people want to go by and check it out, when can they do that?
Okay, our hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
So they don't need to make an appointment, they can just come in, or should they make an appointment?
No, they can just come in.
Okay.
Ricardo, when
On special occasions, they can make an appointment. Right.
When I built my home 6 years ago, I was introduced to all these new materials by Mr. Troy Whittemore, who was helping me build my home. And he introduced me to the blow insulation, to thermocool on the roof, to all the different ways of being able to go green. And you can tell on my PUB bill, on what you're saving yourself. So there are certain components to green where people might say, this is just a little bit too expensive compared to the others. But in the long run, when you look at the savings that you're going to be getting in the future and the quality of material, mind you, it's a win-win situation. And mind you, we have a very, our house is very cozy. It's very comfortable during the cold weather. And it's definitely very, very cool during the winter, during the summer. So definitely, doing this is a step in the right direction, and everybody, should be looking into it, especially with the tankless water heaters. That just within itself
Right.
is a saving factor for anybody building their home. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
When are your workshops offered, and are they free? What are the costs associated with any of the seminars?
Right now, the workshops that we've had in the past, have been free. So we basically, in January, it got geared towards training, as you saw here on the video. But the workshops are free as of now.
We put them on the website. They'll notify them prior to the website. We've been mainly working through this Apple Energy Group out of Austin because they're certified. But you can check our website for the schedule of training to come up. And then they have to go, they can go online and they can register. And it's free right now because it's been grant generated through this other group.
Is it through the website that's listed here on these bags you gave us? Or
Yes.
is it another website? Okay, I'm on the website now. Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited to learn about this new center, and I'm going to go by and visit and do what I can to spread the word.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Workshop item B, Cameron Appraisal District regarding property assessment and evaluation procedures.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. How you all doing?
Good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is Fernando Dominguez, and with me is also Jesus Shui Zurita. We're both with the Appraisal District here in San Benito. I am the manager for the Personal Property Department, and Shui is the manager for the PI, the ID Department. And I'd like to start by saying that Mr. Frutoso Gomez, our chief appraiser, is tied up in litigation right now in Harlingen. They're going to be there for a good while. They're having arbitrations there with some property owners. So he asked for me and Mr. Zurita to come and be here before you all. I'd like to start first by saying that we have completed what we call the appraisal season for 2010. And we are now in the what we call in the tax calendar the equalization, also known as the appeals and protest period. We have sent over 200,000 notices of appraised values this past week, and the second batch is going out this Friday. Along with those notices, we have already sent the preliminary roll to the taxing entities so they can see what the value is. At this time, the chief appraiser has turned over the appraisal roll or appraisal records to the appraisal review board. He no longer has control of the records. And this is the time when the property owner receives his notice, sees the value on his property, both his homestead, real property, or his personal property being business, his inventories or fixed assets. And he's got a window of 30 days to come by our office, discuss the value. If he's not satisfied with the value, after talking with us, then he can file a protest, and he'll be scheduled for an informal and a formal hearing. And this goes all the way through the month of June and the first part of July. Our chief appraiser would like to have this appraisal roll completed by July the 20th, at which point that becomes a certified appraisal roll, and then he turns over that appraisal roll to the taxing entities so they can start working on their tax rates. my part there at the appraisal district, as the manager for personal property, I take care of all the values that are, all the values that are not real. In other words, real is for real estate, personal, real estate properties. So we do all the tangible inventories and fixed assets that a business has in the county. We also take care of the Freeport exemptions. We take care of abatements. We take care of the mobile homes that are in a mobile home park. We review the pollution control exceptions that come before us. And we either deny or accept those applications. Let me see. We also, in personal property, that's where the commercial part comes in. The retail sector, the warehouses, the commercial vessels, such as shrimp boats. We have commercial aircrafts. We also take care of what we call the declarations, which are the special inventories that all the car dealers report to us and report to the county tax assessor on a monthly basis. Those are a few of the items that we do, and I like for Mr. Zurita to express the other part of the real property, along with Mr. Gomez, the director of real estate, is also with him. So Mr. Zurita can share some light on the real part of our appraisal district.
Mr. Dominguez, when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said 200,000 notices are sent out, that's for all the entities within the district or just within Brownsville? What are we talking about?
Those are 200,000, those are partials for the whole county, Cameron County.
Cameron County.
Yes, ma'am. The state code requires for us to send those notices if the value has increased by $1,000. But Mr. Gomez, our chief appraiser, has made it a point of sending those out so that the taxpayer can see what his value is, be aware of the value, make sure that the information that we have there is correct. If the name has changed or the address is not all correct, this is the time when this acts as a vehicle for us and the taxpayer to communicate. But it's for the whole county. Yes, ma'am. Any other questions for personal
I
property?
want to
Yes,
make
sir.
sure for the people at home, because I was confused for a long time. Cameron Appraisal District is not Cameron County Appraisal District. Cameron Appraisal District is the state of Texas that evaluates the property for everybody, right?
Yes, sir. It used to be called the Cameron County Appraisal District.
Yeah.
But that was changed back in '98, I believe. We were getting too many calls that didn't pertain to the appraisal district, rather to the county or the city entities, pertaining to questions concerning streets or concerning other problems that the taxpayers had that were strictly, we had no
So
jurisdiction
before the
over.
state used to collect through the county or what?
We are part of the Texas Controller's
Yeah.
Public Office. Okay, we are under them. We're a quasi-organization here that is responsible for all the property values in Cameron County.
So my question is, just for the people at home, I hope people are paying attention, because when you reassess or evaluate and raise the bar at the state level, it trickles through the city. Yes, the city benefits a little bit, but the city had nothing to do with that. It's the state that raises the property taxes.
What we do is we appraise all
The value.
properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appraise all properties. And we have state requirements on appraising properties. You know, we have our racial studies that we have to go by with the state, that we have to have a level of accuracy on our values, because that reflects and affects the school districts very much as far as how much funding they also receive.
Yeah.
So we are governed by their rules and regulations.
One more question. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for this, but the area, Calle Jacaranda in Brownsville, a lot of big houses, yet they pay real small property taxes as opposed to someone in my district who has a 1,200 square foot home. They're paying just the same amount of taxes. Why would that be? Do people fight to keep their property taxes low, or I mean, how does it work? Because I get a lot of calls like, hey man, I've been over there to the Cameron Appraisal District, and it seems like in the area of Calle Jacaranda, where there's a lot of influential people, they have their property taxes around $1,200. But that's the same in my district when these people have a lot smaller houses. You're talking mansions compared to small. Why is it like that?
I don't want to make an excuse not to answer your question, sir, but I don't deal with the real property part of the appraisal district. I work strictly with businesses. The right person to answer that would be the Director of Real Estate, Mr.
What's
George
his name?
Garcia.
What's his name?
George Garcia.
You just mentioned there's like
He's the Director of Real Estate.
George Garcia.
He's with Mr. Gomez at the time.
Gomez.
He's with our chief appraiser
Oh,
in litigation right
okay.
now.
I'll
Now,
get ahold
that he would be more than glad to answer your question. I really don't have the expertise to answer that question because I don't deal with the real part. They go through a method of their assessments based on sales.
Mhm.
Being that Texas is a non-disclosure state, it is very difficult for us to get good information that I am aware of.
Yeah.
But they do go by their sales as far as what the market is out there for. But I would rather have that question directed to Mr. Garcia. If you like, I would be more than glad to
No.
tell him that you have a question.
Because there's a lot of people that ask me that. I go, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I have a question.
I can tell you that we do have our own, in personal property, we do have our schedules of appraising property. The way we do our assessments, our appraisals, is based on cost schedules, similar to what real estate has, but our way of appraising properties are based very strongly on what we send out renditions at the beginning of the year to every business. It is the law now for that business to render back to us that rendition, because if they don't, they get penalized a 10% penalty for not doing that. Back in 2003, there was an amnesty period allowing everybody that had not rendered or was not on the tax roll to come forward and give their rendition to us, or their value of their business, because the law can require us to go back 2 years if it's omitted property. So our way of appraising value in personal property is through the renditions that the CPAs prepare for their clients, the business, and or if they don't, we have our state schedules where we apply on a square foot method similar to real estate. I have some statistics here from last year as far as we had a little over 12,000 protests last year from taxpayers. Okay? And
That's for businesses only.
this includes everything, real and personal property. We had 12,612 protests, and we had 203,261 parcels. So you can do the math. There was a little over 6% of the parcels or the roll that protested last year, their values. Some of them were settled, some were approved, some were denied, some were withdrawn. This is a complete picture of the whole thing.
Have you seen an increase in protests the last couple of years?
Historically, they've stayed pretty steady with these numbers here. I don't know how it's gonna, what kind of year we're having this year. I will tell you this, that what we're looking at right now as far as all the reports that we're getting, we're beginning to see the effect of the auto industry. Warehouses that have millions of dollars worth of inventories are declaring much less inventories this year. So I'm beginning to see a trend here that in personal property this coming year, we're down on inventory levels at the warehouses.
Now, one more
Yes.
question.
Yes, sir.
Issues come up about the iTech building here in Brownsville. I think UTB owns the building, but I know there's businesses inside the iTech building that either rent or they lease or I don't know if they buy it. But I know because it belongs to the UT system. I know they get exempt from paying taxes, right? The TSC, UTB?
Yes, sir.
But what about the businesses inside the iTech building?
Those businesses are taxable. If
Are
they're leasing-
are taxable?
Yes, sir, if they're leasing space.
And you keep up with that?
Well, sir, the way that we do our field work each year is that we use different methods of discovering the properties. Our normal channels of working the business is through the main arteries or the main locations where all the retail and commercial properties are. Now, there are cases such as what you're saying here. Unless it's advertised or we are aware of it, sometimes we don't know about these places until it's brought to our attention. At that point, we will make sure to visit the location and see who's there.
Now, can you do that?
I've got a question. So you're saying that if my office is off the expressway, I have a greater probability that you will come visit me than if I'm not off the expressway?
Normally, the discovery is a lot easier when we go through the expressway and we identify all the properties. Now, if the county jail or a college, like you say, or what is not normal for us to go out there and look at, if there are clients there, we might not know about them unless they render. We do have that number of businesses that do render that are in isolated cases like this, yes.
Okay.
But yes, to your answer, you're more exposed, sir.
I have a question. Does the property, I have two questions. It's true that whatever you own on January 1st is what you have to pay. In other words, if I owned my building on January 1st of 2009, but I moved out and sold it on January the 24th, I'd still have to pay the entire year of taxes.
The tax liability is from January 1st to December 31st of each year. Now, in personal property, as far as a business, if you have a business on January 1st and you sell it on the 7th, then you are liable for the whole year.
Okay, and second question is, I know you reassess the property value, I guess, regularly, correct? Does that assessment go down because the economy has caused the property value to be worthless?
Okay, on a business, as an example, we depreciate the fixed assets, number one. You make a declaration of what your inventories are or merchandise that you may have, and we take that at 100% cost. Now, we also consider allowances for obsolescence, for depreciation, things that are no longer in, that inventory might be obsolete to a point. So we allow a certain amount of depreciation there, which we call not necessarily depreciation, but a consideration for an adjustment.
Right, but I mean the property itself.
Oh, you're talking about the real estate?
Right.
I can
Yeah.
Okay.
In real estate, what we do throughout the county, we do a ratio analysis based on the sales. And wherever we find property, neighborhoods, some neighborhoods will increase in value based on the number of sales or what the sales are doing in that neighborhood. Some other neighborhoods, the sales decrease. We've had one of the things that we're allowed to use for our study and for our valuations are foreclosure properties. Before, the state wouldn't allow us to use foreclosure properties, but now, since they're very common, we're using those properties to analyze our neighborhoods. We divide the areas by neighborhoods based on the type of properties in the neighborhood, like the construction type, the category, the classification, the architect of the buildings. and then we gather sales data. We're very limited on the amount of sales data that we receive because, as you know, Texas is a non-disclosure state. So we have to, it's like giving a dentist a tool, a job to pull a tooth, and you give them a screwdriver. That's the way we are working. We don't have the tools to identify. So we may be weak in some areas. The commercial sectors is one of them where sales are not advertised, sales are not published. And when we require the property owner to give us that information, we send out, on every time a property transfers ownership, we send out a survey letter requesting what the property sells for. We probably get maybe 10% return of those letters. So it's very difficult to appraise property without sales information. We do have some taxpayers that do provide that information. The state, when they send out when they do their state racial study, for some reason they have a better turnout because I think the state seal on their letter or their letterhead carries more clout than our county appraisal district seal. So they get more response, and they share that information with us. The other thing that we look at are on the foreclosures. Certain areas, certain neighborhoods, mostly those properties that were where they had real good finance, where you could get in very inexpensively into a home. Those are where we're seeing a lot of the foreclosures on. Any questions or?
You've answered, thank you.
Okay.
We're seeing an increase in foreclosures this year as well?
They kind of leveled off. We're not seeing as many as we did a year, 2 years ago. And what we're seeing a lot is that the properties are being foreclosed on, and as soon as they're foreclosed, the banks put them up for sale, and they sell. They're selling. They're not selling as quick or as high as the increases are not as high as they used to be, but the market is kind of stabilizing, and it looks like it's leveling off. Some areas, of course, you'll have problems with the structures or whatever, and those areas are coming down. And as Mr. Dominguez said, my name is, if you call my office and if you call the appraisal district, you ask for Chewy, everybody knows me as Chewy in Cameron County. And I handle the property ID department. We handle all the ownership transactions. We get the information from the county clerks. So the law requires that if you buy or sell property, you report it to the appraisal district. We don't get very many people do that, so we go through the county clerk's office to obtain deeds records, so we can keep up with the ownerships and addresses. That's very important because that helps reduce or increase the collection on the collection tax office. The other thing that my department does, I'm also in charge of doing the agricultural values and identifying property that qualifies for agricultural use. So I handle that, and also the GIS department, which is a mapping department. And right now we have our GIS system. We have about 97% of the county identified with an ownership property. We're looking at we have a test. We're working on testing and putting that information on our website. We've got several test areas that we're working with to see how it works before we put it out to the public. It's going to be real nice because you're going to be able to zoom any place in Cameron County and find the parcel, the subdivision, the lot, and it's going to have a PID number. You click on it, and it's going to give you the information on that property as to the appraisal, ownership, address, that type of information. So we're looking at a lot of changes in our technology, the way of doing things. It's just amazing. The county, the growth has slowed down. I also I take care of creating accounts for the new subdivisions. We had been averaging in the last 4 or 5 years about 200, 250 new subdivisions a year. This year we only put about 70 subdivisions on the roll. So the economy has slowed down. There's not as much movement of real estate at this time. Before, it was a big boom on creating new subdivisions. You see them come up all over the place. But we're faring pretty good. I think we're seeing increases of about maybe, we're not seeing any more double-digit increases on the school district or the city's rolls. We're looking at about one single increases, I think 2, 3, 4% increases on the roll. The only other area that really continues to boom is, of course, Padre Island. That one property, its investment property sells pretty good.
Okay, Shui, Fernando, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions?
What's the property taxes in Calle Pluton?
I'm sorry?
Forget it. I'll ask you later.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Shui, again, Fernando, thank you so much for coming coming before the commission. I think residents are going to find this very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would just like to
Yes,
leave
sir.
the commission with what we call the rights and remedies for the taxpayers. If you do have questions on your property, this will tell you exactly what to do about it. If you would like to talk to us about, and the procedures for a protest.
Is that information on the website too? on how
That
to
should be on the
protest?
website too,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. We do thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next item, Ms. Stella.
Workshop item C, Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport Draft Part 150 Study Noise Exposure Report.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the commission, with the commission's permission, we would like to go ahead and begin with our conclusion.
Okay.
In the interest of time and so forth.
Thank you.
First, let me take the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Larry Brown. I serve the citizens as the Director of Aviation for the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport. I have with me Howard Klein. Howard Klein is a Senior Project Manager with the URS Corporation that has been working us for about 5 years, working with what's called the Part 150 program. The Part 150 program has to do with jet engine noise, and it has to do with how we look at the future of the airport, working with the FAA, and project what that engine noise may be over a period of time. We then, based upon what is projected, are able to participate in an FAA program designed to help us reduce the potential negative effects of that engine noise. We have a brief presentation we put together for you. The information you have in your packets, you have, first of all, a copy of the Part 150 draft study. Looks like this. You also have a copy of the full PowerPoint presentation. You also have 2 maps. At the back of the study are the 2 folded maps. The 2 folded maps are the key things for the purpose of tonight's action. The 2 maps. One map is a map that shows a 65 DNL projection for the year 2009. It also shows for the year 2014. It's those 2 maps that are key to tonight's presentation. Without me talking further, let me turn it over to Howard.
Commissioners, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Mr. Brown asked me to kind of cut to the chase since we're running long, and so I think I'm just going to forward and just basically give you an overview of the maps themselves, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer the items that I was going to present leading up to them. So this is the map for 2009 conditions. It does 12-month period, so ending December of last year. And what we have here is just a land use map. The various colors on the map are showing the various types of land use. So the lighter yellow is residential, green is agricultural, so on. In the center, we have the airport. This is the primary runway, 1331, Boca Chica Boulevard, and the surrounding streets show you all the land uses around them. And the basic conclusion on the existing conditions map is that the noise level that the FAA defines as being incompatible with noise-sensitive land uses, such as residential, in 2009, that level of noise, which is shown by the blue line, the outermost line, does not extend off of airport property. So under existing conditions, you don't have a defined impact of homes or people in the noise. Now, if we move to the forecast year, we have a projected higher level of aircraft operations than occurred over the 12 months ending in December. And as a result of that increase and changes in aircraft fleet mix, you can see that outermost line, which is representing a 65 day-night average sound level, now extends off airport property, across Boca Chica, up in this area, and then down to the southeast in this area. There's about 26 acres that encompasses off of airport property. But when you consider that some of that property is vacant, some of it is roadways and such, there's a total of about 16 acres of property that is within that noise level that's defined as being incompatible with noise-sensitive land uses. So we tallied up the homes, it's about 85 homes. If we use a multiplier on number of people, about 350 people that would be within that contour. So that is where we are through the study. Basically, we're halfway through the study, which is to define where the noise is and the level or intensity of noise and what the impacts are. The second half of the study is to define what do we propose to do about it in terms of noise abatement or land use actions.
Would that include as part of the acreage, the cost that we may have to incur to get that, to take over that property?
Well, when we have a proposed action, we would indicate the cost for each proposed action to address those noise impacts. So if you were doing sound insulation, we would have a cost associated with that. If there was proposed acquisition of properties, there'd be a cost associated with that.
Okay.
Our primary actions that we've taken thus far have been to acquire property.
Okay.
If you notice on the south end of the point of that blue line, notice all the area that's shaded in gray. That property has all been purchased within the past 5 years and has been purchased with a combination of Part 150 funds. There have been a total of 7 parcels with Part 150 funds and funds from the GBIC. And coincidentally, that property is also purchased so that allows the city over the period of the next 5 years to extend the main runway to 10,000 feet.
Okay.
Questions?
Why 5 years?
Because in order to go through the process the FAA requires to justify a $50 million investment, you have to have a certain amount of aircraft traffic. In our case, it's a family of 747-200 series. And right now, a 7,400-foot runway, which is the length we have, limits the amount of air cargo that you can put on a 747 to about 85% of its design weight at peak heat in the summer in Brownsville. That is, in order to have sufficient justification for that investment by the FAA, we have to have about 8 of those freighters flying per day in order to justify it in the minds of the FAA. That is what we're working on in terms of part of the effort we're working on, like with the dual customs facilities and so forth.
Larry, when the strip is extended, as you say, to further than, what was it, 10,000 feet or something like that?
Right now, it's 7,400.
Will that blue line continue out, or is that blue line going to include that?
When it extends to 10,000 feet, that blue line will project further out.
And any of the projects that you're working on with respect to like the walking trails and such that you're working on, will those be influenced by any of those noise limits?
Actually, the walking trails we're working on are on the north side.
So they're
as
not
opposed to the
affected?
south side.
So
And
they're not?
what we've deliberately done, if you notice where the gray area is, the actual runway extension, if you see the runway extension that goes to the south will extend to about right there into that gray area with a combination of the runway protection zone and the asphalt. It goes to about that point where, but we bought enough property, included as airport property, so we have property out here. So we've already accounted for the potential extension of that 65 DNL, and it'll be on airport property in the future.
So we're covered.
Pardon?
We're covered.
That's the purpose we're doing.
Appreciate it. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Appreciate it, Mr. Brown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sela, we will now begin the regular meeting. Good evening, everyone. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Pastor, you lead us in our prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you so much for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you for this great nation we live in. We thank you for the leaders you've given us. And Lord, we ask you to give each one of them wisdom from the president to the city commission. Lord, we ask you to have your way in the meeting tonight. Help each of us to see the value in our colleagues' comments, to treat everybody with respect, and to let the outcome of this meeting be something that'll be good for Brownsville. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, we'll begin with the commissioners' reports. If the mayor comes, we'll go ahead and let him give his report. Commissioner Gowan.
To begin with, I'd like to thank BISD for their participation in the Biggest Loser Challenge last Saturday. They hosted a multi-level event at Sam Stadium that was very well attended and a lot of fun. I thank them very much for their participation. Next week, or this coming Saturday, will be an event at Veterans Park hosted by Commissioner Zamora. And there will be several activities, including exercise classes and informational activities, as well as a 1-mile walk at Veterans Park. And the library will be joining and participating by having a special display of all of the books that they have that have to do with either exercise or healthy eating or getting in shape or what they have available, so that we can find out what we can find just by going to our library. So that will be a lot of fun. Lastly, remind you that the grants for PepsiCo are about to start, and we will be getting information through Mr. Kabler's office, probably to the website, so that all of the citizens can register to vote for the grants that we can all benefit from here in Brownsville.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Atkinson.
Just real quick on the Brownsville Sports Park, this Saturday, the city, along with the sports park and along with USA Volleyball, are sponsoring a 2-on-2 beach volleyball tournament. It's geared between the ages of 12 and 20 years old. Companies coming down from USA Volleyball, they're really excited about getting the kids of Brownsville involved. BISD athletes from all the high schools, from the middle schools to TSC. We need to encourage all the females and males, because the males have a division as well, to get involved in our newest amenity that we have at the Brownsville Sports Park, which is the Brownsville Beach Sports Cove. We're very proud of that cove. It was thanks to the commissioners here that helped our board at the BICC get this done. We're really excited about that, but to fill this type of event, you need to get the kids involved, and we urge we've been talking to BISD, and they're getting the word out with all their students to get involved. It's this Saturday at 8 a.m. Everybody's going to meet at the Beach Cove, and it should be a great event, and you qualify. I think the 5 teams that make it out in their divisions will be able to qualify to go to San Antonio. From there, it'll end up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the championships of these circuit competition tournaments. So we encourage all the kids of Brownsville to get involved, because as you know, I think we said it at that grand opening when we had a 3-time Olympic gold medalist Karsh Karai came down to open up our Beach Cove. You know, beach volleyball, 2-on-2, is going to be a collegiate sport for females. You know, we're ahead of the curve. To me, finally, Brownsville's done something before. We're not catching up to the rest of the world. We're there. You know what I mean? So if the NCAA is willing to put this effort in to provide scholarships and opportunities for females to to get a good education as well as play sports, then we as a community need to get behind our females here in Brownsville, as well as our male, because there's competition for males too, but I don't think that's going to be a collegiate sport anytime soon. But our females in Brownsville have another outlet, have another way to get into college, you know, by playing sand volleyball. It's amazing. You know, we've been out there the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of activity. It goes in gear with Commissioner Gowan's Get Healthy thing. We have a lot of kids going, adults. There's a big community of adults that play sand volleyball there. You can just go and everybody's nice. You can get on a team and people are going to welcome you there. I'm humbled to see the type of activity we're seeing there already. And this Saturday is very important. So if you haven't signed up, kids, you can sign up the day of the event, Saturday morning before 8 o'clock. Please be there early. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Two quick announcements. The Brownsville Chamber of Commerce will be holding a workshop to inform citizens of the plastic bag ordinance on May the 11th at 8:30 in the morning. This will take place at the Southmost Community Network Center. So we encourage residents, business owners to please come out and get information, receive information regarding the plastic bag ordinance. Healthy Communities is also participating, so please come and attend. Also, United Brownsville Downtown Committee will be having a workshop next Thursday, the 13th, from 6 to 7:30 at the ITEC. Those of you that are interested in downtown, please feel free to come and participate and share your ideas regarding how to better improve our downtown community. A couple of weeks ago, we celebrated Earth Day. As you know, it was a real major festivities took place around the community. I want to thank all the Walmarts and H-E-Bs and Lopez's and all the folks that put on the event, the museums, because you know it was just a fantastic couple of days in Bronzo, and I'm sure all over the country. But there was quite a bit of work that took place. Most of the entire commission was either at an H-E-B or at a Walmart, bagging people's groceries and talking about the ordinance and educating folks on here's your free reusable bag, but please bring it next time you come. So I want to thank everybody for participating and all of our partners in the business community for providing the reusable bags to the residents. I can't stress enough, the residents, you know, don't just use them, don't use them during Earth Day, please use them every day. So again, I want to thank everybody who participated in all the events. Everybody did a great job. We also had a Great American Cleanup and a movie night as part of Earth Day festivities. This was a great event. It took place at Dean Porter Park. Student Life helped us with the inflatable screen, and
That's nice,
the movie WALL-E was shown to families and kids. We're looking at another movie night that'll take place in a different park. You know, next may be Gonzales or Oliveira, but we plan to, you know, go to different parks around the city of Bronzo to show a movie and promote the environment, and again, doing well and recycling and not littering. I also want to thank all the volunteers that participated in the Great American Cleanup. We had over 250 kids, young adults participate, collected nearly 3,000 pounds of trash. So this community is a lot more cleaner because of their efforts and all the work that they're doing. I want to thank Hilario and Roberto for all the work that they do through Public Works, as well as Santana and our Public Work guys, because these guys, as you can tell, are giving presentations about the landfill. You can see all those tires. We're trying to figure out a solution of what to do with those tires. I will say this, I don't want to see a single tire in the landfill at all, ever. So we're going to work on a way to make sure that they're not in landfill and they're taken somewhere or sold or whatever.
Recycled.
So again, they're doing great work. They're educating folks. They're giving up their time on the weekend. And I really do appreciate all they do. But I appreciate their leadership in Santana and the Public Works, because again, they're making kids happy, they're educating folks, and they're doing quite a bit of good things for the community. And that will conclude my report. Okay.
We have proclamations.
We will now move on to the proclamations.
Proclamations, Vela Middle School chess team.
Is the Vela Middle School here?
I believe they're outside.
They're outside? Oh, that's great.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe we can change on the website.
First of all, Victor and Coach, and to the students, congratulations on something that had really never been done before. And we're very proud of you as a school, as an organization, and all the efforts on behalf of teachers, staff, students, parents, all the fundraising that y'all have done, all the out-of-pocket expenses that y'all have done to be able to get these kids to these tournaments, and for you to come back and be #1 in the nation. I mean, that's just something we should all be proud of, and we owe them a very big round of applause. And the following is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing the Vela Middle School chess team champions. Whereas the Vela Middle School chess team finished in first place at the 2010 Texas Regional 8 Chess Championship held in Brownsville, Texas on January the 23rd and the 24th with 8th grade student James, I hope I pronounced it correct, Ukoli? Ukoli? All right. Placing first in the tournament. And whereas the Vela Middle School chess team finished in first place at the 2010 Texas Scholastic Chess Championship held in Dallas on February 20th through the 21st with 8th grade Vela Middle School student Jeffrey Hung, tied for first place and was recognized as tournament co-champion. And whereas the Vela Middle School chess team on April 9th through the 11th finished in first place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and are recognized as the 2010 Junior High School National K-9 champions. And whereas the Vela Middle School class, the Chess Booster Club, includes Victor Flores, coach and sponsor, DM Tony Mesa, coach and sponsor, I am Daniel Fernandez, and chess trainer and school principal Robert Gonzalez. And whereas Vela Middle School students committed to chess include James O. Ukoli, Sergio E. Lambarri, Ian V. Santos, Gabriel E. Gomez, Elizabeth D. Vasquez, Fernando L. Cardenas, Mendez Jr., Douglas S. Alford, Elizabeth O. Ukoli, Kyle B. Valdez, Alan Olmos, Christian Cardenas, Joshua A. Martinez, Jeffrey Hung, Christopher A. Barroso Ingle, Matthew N. Gutierrez, Galen H. Bungtong, William A. Shelf, Christian E. Arguelles, Shanghir Siddiqui, Stephen B. Barroso Ingle, Jose A. Guerrero Jr., Jaime A. Ibarra, Daniel Duazo, Karina Lopez, Levi R. Jaramillo, Kimberly Erizurris, Cesar A. Morales, Jennifer Y. Guerra, John P. Niduaza, Fernando Paredes, and Richard Almeida Jr. Now therefore, we the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Vela Middle School chess team on its championship play in 2010, and it's done this 4th day of May, 2010, signed by Paramada Jr., Mayor of Brownsville, and the City Commission. Congratulations.
Good evening, City Commission. On behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff of Vela Middle School, I would like to thank you for recognizing our Vela chess team tonight. And as always, thank you for being so supportive of our scholastic chess program here in the district. There's a quote that states, "Champions are made when no one is watching." That is, they only see the end result. This statement is so true of our chess team here. They put so much dedication into working hard all year round. They study their game both on and off campus. The end result is a regional, state, and national title. We would like to think we made a positive impact here in Brownsville, as many cities are taking note of what our accomplishments have been. Once again, thank you very much. And at this time, I would like to make a special shout out to Father Larry Klein, the head priest at Our Lady of Good Counsel. I know Father Larry religiously watches the tape footage of every City Commission meeting here in Brownsville. Father Larry, if you are watching this segment, please keep the Vela chess team and BSD chess in your prayers. We enjoy the success the Lord has given us, and we pray for more success in the years to come. Thank you very much.
The console's not here. The console's not here. That's gonna be Target stores. Where they're supposed to be.
Is anybody here from Target? Want to please come up, receive the proclamation? So thank you for being here. I want to, the reason why we wanted to recognize Target was because if you all have probably read in the paper recently, you can go to Target and now bring your recyclables to any one of their stores, not just in Brownsville or in the state of Texas, but throughout the country. I think that's just phenomenal that you all would take in people's recyclables from the entire city of Brownsville. And so I congratulate you all. I thank you for doing such a, for the Target Corporation, for doing such a great endeavor to, again, to preserve our community and, again, make it a little bit more greener. So thank you so much. A proclamation, City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, congratulating Target stores for their commitment to a clean environment. Whereas in April 2010, Target stores nationwide launched permanent recycling stations in all 1,740 stores in the chain, including stores in the Rio Grande Valley. And whereas Target stores also inaugurated an online eco-boutique where customers may find eco-friendly products while learning more about the company's commitment to the environment. And whereas recycling stations are located at the front of each store, providing a convenient way to recycle aluminum, glass, and plastic beverage containers, plastic bags, MP3 players, cell phones, ink cartridges, along with a complete list of all recyclables that are accepted at Target stores. And whereas Target stores nationwide celebrated Earth Month in April by offering coupons, giveaways, including 1.5 million complimentary reusable shopping bags made from 100% post-consumer recycled PET bottles. And whereas Target Corporation has long been committed to providing convenient shopping experience, and since 1946 has given 5% of its income through community grants and programs, which today equals more than $3 million a week. Whereas Target Stores Incorporated is helping to lead the way to a cleaner, more environmentally sound America, and for this, the chain deserves our thanks and congratulations. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby congratulate Target stores for their commitment to a clean environment and further wish them much success in the future. Done on this the 4th day of May, 2010. Thank you.
Hello. Well, my name's Sarina Garcia, and I run the store on Morrison Road. And being born and raised in Brownsville, it makes me very proud to work for Target because they not only allow me, but they encourage me to use my resources and behind the bullseye and the fundings behind the bullseye to help my community. This environmental rollout that we did completely changed the way we run our stores, from not just recycling what we're recycling for the community, but recycling how we work our freight and our store every day. So thank you very much for this. I appreciate it.
Police Officers Memorial Day.
We now recognize our police officers. Chief, you want to come forward?
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, declaring May 15, 2010 as Peace Officers Memorial Day and May 9 through the 14th, 2010 as National Police Week. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas 116 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty in 2009, and whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of the City of Brownsville play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the City of Brownsville, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the law enforcement agency of the City of Brownsville unceasingly provide a vital public service. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby call upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 9 through the 14th, 2010, as National Police Week, and to observe May 15, 2010, as Peace Officers Memorial Day, with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so, have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. Done on this, the 4th day of May, 2010, signed the Mayor and the City Commission.
Commissioners, and to the public, in 1963, President John F. Kennedy signed into law May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week of such as also Peace Officers Memorial Week. On May the 13th, next week at 10 o'clock, in front of the police station, we will be honoring those officers that were killed in the line of duty in 2009. By now, you should have received your invitations to join us for that ceremony. We invite the public to join us, and lunch will be provided courtesy of our community partners, HEB.
No, just this part of it.
Oh, okay.
You want to stay?
Yep.
Okay, Stella, presentations?
Presentation is Employee of the Month.
I'm not supposed to be saying that, right? I'm sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
You're doing great, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
you're doing fine.
In observance of Police National Week and Police Memorial Day, we want to recognize one of our finest police officers as the Employee of the Month for May, which is recognized as police memorial ceremonies, as noted by the chief and by you all during your presentation earlier. Please welcome Julio Sanchez Jr., our Employee of the Month for May. Julio joined the police department, the Brownsville Police Department, in April 1999. He's an 11-year veteran. Before that, he enlisted in the United States Army in 1988, left in 1992, and since then has, in 1996, enrolled in the Army Reserve. What makes him special and deserving of this award, like so many of our fine officers and employees, are deserving of, is that he has actually maintained his dedication to our country by maintaining U.S. Army status, and in fact just returned in March 22nd, I believe, from deployment in Iraq, safely back to us. Like some of our employees that have been employed, he is dedicated to that. So today he's wearing the uniform of the Brownsville Police Department, but tomorrow he might be wearing the uniform of the United States Army and serving in Iraq and overseas, defending our country and our world. He is currently assigned to the Uniform Services Division, and he also has been assigned to our tactical team. He is recognized as premier, one of our finest officers. Above all this, what makes him super special is the fact that he has been able to maintain a wonderful marriage with his wife, Sandra, who I believe is here, and they also have two beautiful sons. So we're very proud of him, and we want to recognize him as Employee of the Month, and plus he is also eligible for the Employee of the Year at our banquet in December. So congratulations, Julio. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And he wants to say a few words.
I want to thank my wife and my family for supporting me while I was deployed. The Chief of Police, my chain of command. It makes it a lot easier when you're deployed, when you have the support of your family and your friends and your employers. It's one less thing to worry about. Thank you. It's an honor to get this award.
We did it a little bit different, so now we can give him the awards. He gets a shirt, cap that doesn't match either of his uniforms, but I'm sure he can give it to one of his kids. The employee of the month. You can wear that with a uniform. And the plaque, Officer Julio Sanchez Jr., in recognition of outstanding services rendered to not only the city of Brownsville, but our country, Employee of the Month for May 2010.
And the chief is taking him out to lunch.
The chief will take him to lunch.
And include the wife and the kids. So. Thank you, Charlie. Congratulations, Officer Sanchez. Next item.
Item 5, consent agenda items.
Move to approve. Second.
There's a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None, motion passes. Next item.
Item 6, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint one member to the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, I believe this was the mayor's appointment, but
Okay.
he's not here today, but
I guess
it's
then we
your
will go ahead and,
choice.
I'm sorry?
I mean, what do you, I mean, just what
I
you
guess
want
we're
to
going to
do.
go ahead and table it. He hasn't indicated to me of a possible appointment, so we'll go ahead and table it for the next meeting until he gets back.
Move to table.
There's a motion to table. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None, motion passes. Next item.
Item 7, consideration and action to appoint one member to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, we have one person that vacated their position. That's Rick Ortiz. Served honorably for about 3 years. He stepped down, and it's a mayoral appointment, so I'm in the same situation as Ben.
But that board isn't a mayoral appointment, it's.
Well, it was originally Mayor Trevino's appointment, so however the commission deems to fill that position.
I have a recommendation. There's interest by Mr. Chuck Hodgkins to be on this board, so I'd like to nominate him for that board. He's played Division I baseball, and his dad was a police officer here. He's real involved with youth sports, and I think he'd make a great addition to this board.
I have a
Commissioner,
question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner. Go ahead.
I just wondered how are these appointments determined? Because I don't see that I have an appointment to the Parks Board.
It's like the PUB where you have, you know how the PUB board, it's not by whoever has, it's whoever has, you know, whoever's talked to others, if you have the votes. But I'm more than willing to help you with that, whoever you want on the, who you want to put on it. Yeah, get approached a lot on these boards because I'm real into the youth sports and stuff like that. But
No, I'm not objecting, it's just that I wondered since
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, I'm sorry, but this just reflects who successfully nominated someone.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you nominate someone, and if you get 4 votes, it's appointed by the person that nominated, then you got the eligible votes.
Like Sergio Zarate wasn't really my pick, but it was, I motioned for another commissioner. So, you know what I mean?
I
But they
understand.
put it under my name, but
I
it's not.
understand.
Yeah,
That's your boo-boo. Drink
So
it.
I'd like to motion to put in Chuck Hoskins.
Okay, Chuck Hodgkin, has he submitted an application?
Yeah, he put one in 9 months ago for something else and he didn't get picked up.
Okay. There's a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
This motion, there's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item. Thanks, Chris.
Item 8, public comment period.
I'm sorry, Scylla. Yes, Commissioner.
I apologize, didn't mean to interrupt. I have a question. It reflects here on the list of members of this committee that we had 2 others that expired. Am I reading that one?
I think a few meetings ago, we.
Those were on the
Are
last
these not
commission meeting.
updated? This isn't updated?
This isn't, I believe, I don't think that was updated, but it's we had 2 that were appointed, and it was the same 2 individuals that were reappointed for another term.
Okay, just check.
Thanks for catching that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. We'll move. Next item. It's public comment. First up is Ms. Leticia Garzoria.
Good evening, Commissioners,
Good evening.
Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Leticia Perez Garzoria, and I would like to comment on something that I didn't finish the last time that I was here because of the time. But I feel that it is an important issue, and we must address it. And the problem is of one of the sitting commissioners regarding public speakers. His comment was recycled people who speak, and his second item was Brownsville deserves a better class of people who speak. At that time, I spoke of President Reagan, the great communicator, our 40th president, a man who diligently opened the effective dialogue with our fiercest enemy, the communists. At one of the last meetings with Premier Gorbachev, our president at that time, with no uncertain terms, he told Mr. Gorbachev to tear down this wall. Of course, we all know the history after that. It marked the end of communism, and also it allowed the USSR to work with the United States in an effective way with the dealings of diplomacy and also political policy throughout the ages, which we now are recipients to. President Reagan, who was he? He was an actor, he was a governor, he was a statesman, and a unique politician. He knew how to speak, he knew how to communicate. He was a soldier without a gun, bringing down communism down to its knees. Who was he? In my eyes, he was a true American hero. How do we use this to our advantage today? And we must. We must use it to our advantage. I'm not going to close with my words because they're my words. I'm going to close with the words of the book of Proverbs in chapter 19, verse 1. And to this commissioner who feels himself to be superior to that of the humble public, I'm going to use these words of the scriptures. And it quotes, addresses the problems of loose lips and the consequences that it brings about in our lives. And it reads, better is the poor who walketh in his integrity than he who is perverse in his lips and is a fool. These are words from the scripture. These are words of admonition and wisdom. And I believe we can all learn something from choosing our words very carefully and intelligently, because it does have consequences. And we see it in our everyday lives, how we treat our children. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Gasolia. Next public comment, Roberto Uresti. Mr. Uresti, welcome.
Roberto Uresti, 1220 Calle Pluton. The city of Brownsville has many issues which are a concern to me and the citizens of Brownsville. First, and let me make it very plain and clear, there is a dark cloud of distrust hanging over this body. The citizens have doubt over the things you are doing at the cost of the millions of dollars you're spending, and yet nothing goes to the people. This body has said that I, Roberto Uresti, is a show, that I do not understand the issues, I do not have the information correct, that I am hurting and making Brownsville look bad. Excuse me, who gave and got $26,000 check? Who is selling 15,000 industrial acre land cheap? Who is going to raise the PUB water rates by 38% in the next 5 years? Who is going to raise the wastewater rates by 29.75%? Who created 33 or 35 jobs at a cost of $3.9 million a job? Not me. The people of Brownsville ask for better streets, but we get super $1 million parks, and the cost of this park keeps going up. This morning I saw a family, including their dog, waiting on the side of the street in the hot sun trying to get a bus. Our area is forgotten, yet those people get more money. Brownsville spent almost $1 million on the Vision 2020. That job should have been done by the staff, the city staff, not to spend money in some part of people of Mexico. The city closed one park, Central Park, so the people could be forced to go to Charlie Kabler's Park. That makes sense. The people of the Galaxia subdivision has asked me to come here and speak because we don't seem to have any representation, because there are 3 people up here have to represent that area. But you don't even know where that area is. We have a police department across the street, and the biggest joke at Galaxia is they're always closed. I had to fight a robber on Thursday. No worry, police took forever to get there. Then they broke in the next day. Police don't go into the Galaxia. The people there tell me. Are they afraid? They need to come in there and just park. There's loud music, crazy things going on there. But it seems like they blame it on all the people. It's not the people. You have made fun of Calle Pluton, and I've seen you laugh and make, I don't know what kind of deviant behavior you guys are looking at Calle Pluton. But go talk to the people, because I told them how you act toward them. So if you are making fun of those people, please come down and talk to them.
Time is up, Mr. Uresti. Thank you.
you.
Next public comment, Reverend Alex Resendes.
How y'all doing? My minute's already started?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Now.
Chihuahuas, they start before I get out of the... Está bueno. I got several issues here. Where's my mayor? Chihuahuas, I can't do nada without my mayor. Bueno, let's see. I've got, the last time I was here, before we started speaking, the mayor said that we don't represent nobody. Okay? That the people that come here to speak, they come here to speak because they want to be seen in television and they want to have fun. Anyway, my 3 minutes, I hope they give me my exact 3 minutes and 1 extra for being so nice. Anyway, right now, I'm representing a police officer. The good Lord said, I'm going to send you a police officer so you can tell him you represent somebody. Is one of your police officers, apparently he broke a leg or something happened to him. His name is Jesse Martinez. This police officer is a motorcycle police officer. Okay, I don't know the man. Said, Mr. Resendez, I want you to go over there and represent me because I want you to tell the mayor that he loves dogs. And what happened, a dog went in front of a car, and the lady was driving the car, slammed on the brakes, and since he's a motocicletista, ¿verdad? Pues se embarró. And now he's hurting, ¿ves? So I represent a police officer. I hope you all fix him for the rest of his life. Send him a good check from taxpayers. That would be nice. His name is Jesse Martinez. I don't know if it's true or not. He was not dressed like a police officer. He was dressed in civilian. Another man I represent is a big businessman here in Mexico también. His name is Mario Villarreal. This man, he sent a letter to all of you. In fact, he was on the front page of the Brownsville Herald. Something happened, but we had already been to Jivic. Me and my buddy that was kicked out of here, Fernando Ruiz, we had been to the Jivic organization that you all have for beautiful Brownsville, and we spoke about this property that was sold for $15,000, and it was not appraised, because this man had already told us about this, and there had been something there with an attorney, Gomez, and Mr. Gallegos. That's not yours, right? I thought there was a... And another thing I would like to talk about is the hazardous materials. Fui a una junta, and they have hazardous materials, explosives that are going to be through the streets of Brownsville. Some guy, Sergio, was there, and I think John Wood was there, I think. Anyway, it was at the library. These hazardous materials, you all should check and find out cuáles son las calles que van a usar, porque these explosives are very dangerous for our kids. If you're driving, taking your kids to school, they're very dangerous for the churches. These hazardous materials are going to be more than what we already have. Flammable materials going through our calles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Resendez.
And
Mr. Resendez.
Chihuahuas, you all, we don't need the mayor. You all run it better than with the mayor. With the mayor, pura averiguar. Lord bless you all.
Likewise, sir. Thank you. Our last public comment, Commissioner Ernesto de Leon.
Honorable members of the Brownsville City Commission, my name is Ernesto de Leon. I come here before you this afternoon to ask you to please take notice of a lot of money that we're spending here to refix our streets. And no sooner are they completed, and I'm talking about one that took months to complete between Central Boulevard and Honeydale, which is Los Ebanos. No sooner is completed, and they already tore it down, fixing something or other, which is just, to me, is unjustifiable. It's kind of crazy. And first of all, I do not understand, and I guess it's not the only one that's been done that to, but I don't know what to suggest or where to start advising the people that are responsible to please take notice of it. And once it's completed, by God, you ought to be able to know that if you're going to have to do some work on the pipes or anything like that, do it before the job's complete. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next item.
Item number 9, consideration and action to accept the noise exposure maps and report for the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport.
Mr. Brown.
Who to accept?
Right. We would recommend that the city commission go forward and accept the maps that were discussed in the workshop, which we will then submit to the Part 150 program with the FAA.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. This motion been made by Commissioner Atkinson, second by Commissioner Longoria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None, motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
Item number 10, consideration and action to acknowledge the Deputy City Manager, CFO's financial statements and cash investment report for the City of Brownsville for the second quarter ending March 31st, 2010.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Commission, This are the, we went ahead and distributed to you during the weekend this book. This is the report, and this report contains all the operating funds, all the capital funds that the city has, and this is information through the period ending, or ended March 31st, 2010. So it's the half point of the fiscal year. I do have a very quick PowerPoint presentation that summarizes part of this blue book that was given to you. Some of the highlights or some of the concerns, obviously, that we still have is the decline in sales tax receipts, declines on the Veterans Bridge revenues. Unemployment rate is 11.6, and hotel motel tax receipts have declined by almost 13%. This is information regarding the taxes, sales taxes that have been collected through the first 6 months of the year. And if you look at the column that says actual 2010, and then the other one under 2010 budget, you see some credits or deficits from the previous year. The only plus that you see there was the one that was recorded in January of 46,000. All along, if you look at the entire year, we're down quite a bit, 879,000 plus from the previous year. Budget-wise, we're about $990,000 less. That's on the budget. If this trend continues, we're looking at a budget shortfall in sales tax of close to $2 million by the end of the fiscal year, unless obviously there's an improvement for the next 6 months, then that's going to change. The last monies that we got from sales tax did show a plus of $2,030 for the same period as last year, but sales about a budget deficit of $14,000. This is just more or less a view of what the sales tax will look like if the trend continues. We'll collect about $22 million from almost $24 million the previous year. The crosses at the bridge are also down. We're down about 15% in budget-wise, 3.5 from the previous year. This is just a chart that more or less will show what the bridge revenues will be through the end of the fiscal year, and then we're looking at a 1.2 million down from the previous year. Unemployment rates 11.6%, and this is through March of 2010, and this is a calendar year. You can look at 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008. There were single-digit unemployment at 2009 and 2010. Now we're up on the two-digit. Building permits. The previous year we had a decline of 64%, or $230,000. Things are looking better this year. We're up 27.29 from the same period as last year. Again, this is just what the building permits will look like if the trend continues. We should have around 160 million in permits if the trend continues. Peso, it's getting better from it's floating right now. It's a good rate, 12.23%. Of course, we had a very good rate at in August of 9.8%. This is the fund balance that we had at the end of the year, $17 million plus. Unreserved, 15 million. Reserve, 1.9 million. And this will be covered in our next item when the audit report is presented to you. We ended the year with a 19.62% in reserves, which is, in this case, it's very good. We're looking at, this is the March 31st report from the general fund. It shows 33.6 million in liabilities and fund balance. Fund balance is 24.3. Obviously, that fund balance will decline as the year goes by, and that's because we have collected most of our property taxes during the beginning of the year. Right now, we're looking at a fund balance, estimated fund balance of about 13.6 million, which is about a 3.4 million decline from the previous year. Again, this is just a budget number. These are the budgets for the general fund. As you can see, sales tax, we generate about 26% from sales tax. So sales tax definitely is one of our largest revenue sources that the general fund has. And these are the majority obviously goes in expenses, goes to public safety of 54.64%. This is the mid-year through March as far as actual numbers versus how much we have collected budget-wise. We're about 56%. We should be at 50% in revenues, but the main part there is property taxes. Most of the property taxes have already been collected. We've collected around 85%, so 89% in this case. That's going to decline as the year goes by. Expenses, we're down, this is the percentages, we're not, which is a good sign here, we're not spending as fast. We should be at 50%, we're at 45.62%. This is the actual comparing March of 2009 with 2010. There's a plus of 5 million. But of things that we need to look at is the economic assistance that we received from PUB of 1,250,000 so far. We should collect 3 million by the end of the year, and then there's a settlement of about 1.5 million. As far as March to March in expenses, we're a little bit higher from last year. So far for this is just a summary, revenues and expenses. Convention and tourism shows a decline. There is a decline in the hotel motel tax, and that's one of the reasons why this shows a deficit. Community development, it's an in and out. Revenues and federal, this is all federal money. We have the ERA funds, the stimulus funds, about 11.2 million. We have separated each fund separately. The ERA funds, they all have a separate fund and a separate checking account. This is one of the first ones. And this is for the construction of the intermodal terminal project. Then there's also surplus grants from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, homeless prevention and rapid rehousing. There's stimulus money from the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the homeless prevention again and rapid rehousing. We have stimulus grants from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for weatherization projects. This one is from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Here we have, through March, we had not spent, but we are for the next quarter, we should have some expenses relating to these projects, and this is all related to the Justice Department. Then we have the other stimulus money that has not been spent yet. That's the landfill gas collection system. It's in the works. City Plaza air conditioning is also in the works. And then traffic signal synchronization. Right now we show 0 expenses, but expenses should be incurred in the next few months regarding this project, stimulus money. There's another stimulus money regarding justice grants, and this is for the purchase of 25 portable radios plus 15 extra batteries, and this all goes to the police department. There's another stimulus grant, again for law enforcement. This is the non-bonded debt fund, had a fund balance of 93,000 at the end of March. Landfill tipping fee shows a fund balance of about 532,000. Airport, it's something that we're probably going to need another transfer by the end of the year from the general fund. Bridge fund, which I've already covered. The motor vehicle parking system shows 70 plus revenues over expenses. Public transit, as you all know, public transit operates on a deficit. We get 50% of it comes from the FTA for operations, the Brownsville Golf Center, and then, of course, we have the medical insurance. This fund is doing better than previous years. Our claims are less than last year. And then, of course, we have the investments report at the end of the 6-month period. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Pete. Anyone have any questions?
Move to acknowledge. Second.
There's a motion to acknowledge by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Troyani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None motion passes. Thank you, Pete.
Item 11, consideration and action to acknowledge the city's comprehensive annual financial report and single audit report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2009.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Commission, this report will be given to you by Mr. Juan Mendoza, a partner with the firm of Long Chilton. By the way, this report has already been presented to the Audit Committee. We presented this to the Audit Committee last week. He'll make up the presentation for you.
Thank you.
Mendoza.
Good evening. I am here tonight to present to you your comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2009. This financial report, I think everybody has a copy. I am not going to spend a lot of time. I'm just going to go over the highlights. It is over 250 pages long. It has all their funds in detail. It has notes to explain in narrative format some of the most significant items in your statement of net assets and your statement of revenues and expenditures. On page 25 of your financial report is some financial highlights. And the ones I want to stress out is that your fund balance in the general fund decreased by $1.5 million or 8.35% from fiscal year 2008. The end of the fiscal year 09, the city's governmental funds reported combined fund balances of $51.5 million, of which $15.4 million is available for spending at the city's discretion, which is your unreserved fund balance. The city did not issue any debt during fiscal year 2009. Another item I wanted to talk about was really the general fund and a comparison of your operations between fiscal year 2009 and fiscal year 2008 can be found on page 40 of your audit report. Total revenues for the city's general fund only amounted to $83.7 million, a decrease of almost $4 million from the prior year, and your total expenditures were $84.4 million, which is about a $600,000 increase from prior year. After transfers in and out, the net change in your fund balance was that decrease of $1.5 million. There's a lot more detail. If you go to a tab that says required supplementary information, there's a comparison in a lot more detail of the general fund. It shows the actual funds as compared to budget. And on page 136, the important thing to look at is that even though your revenues for the year decreased by $2.2 million, your budgeted expenditures were at $92.8 million, but the actual expenditures were $84.4. So you really trimmed down on your expenses by about $8 million, which helped a lot because you had budgeted a deficit of $7.1 million and closed the year with a deficit of $1.5 million only. So that in itself was real good. On page 38 is an exhibit that Pete had already showed you, which is your fund balances over the years. The city's goal is to maintain a fund balance equal to about 15% of your yearly expenditures. At the close of 2009, your unreserved fund balance of $15 million represented 17.33% of your expenditures. But compared to the prior years, in 2008, it was 18.4, and in 2007, it was 19.4. So every year, you've been decreasing your unreserved fund balance by about 1%. And like I said, at the close of 2009, you were at 17.33%. Um, The rest of the report, like I said, it's just going to be a little bit more detailed. It shows all the funds in detail in the back. It has the component units. It has the statistical section that gives you 10-year comparative data. And there's a lot of useful information in here. We do have an auditor's report where we report on internal controls in accordance with government auditing standards. And again, we don't have any findings, significant deficiencies to report. We do have some findings that we reported in the single audit when we did compliance. All these findings have been reported to management and the audit committee, and corrective action plans have been put into place to correct them. And I don't want to take too much of your time, but that is, in a brief summary, your financial report.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Move to acknowledge.
So motion acknowledged by Commissioner Atkinson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Troyani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 12, presentation and acknowledgement of the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau Quarterly Report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, fellow commissioners, general public, thank you very much. I'm Mariano Bina Ayala, President and CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Brownsville. I just want to let you know that these are exciting times. We've really gone through some real tough 2 years, tough, but there's some real good things happening. For example, next month, we're going to have the Texas Police Athletic Federation. We're looking at 1,200 to 1,500 police officers here in Brownsville. The month after, we're looking at the Little Miss Kickball State Tournament in July, and we're looking at 3,000 players or participants. So things are looking pretty good for Brownsville. It's been tough. It's been real tough, especially for the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau. But guess what? We're excited about our job. We're excited because finally, the city, Brownsville Independent School District, the Convention and Visitors Bureau are coming together to bring people to Brownsville, to bring events to Brownsville. For example, I'm going to go through something you've already know about. Los Bravos was brought to Brownsville. Now Brownsville is the official home for Los Bravos, professional soccer team. BISD, the city of Brownsville, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau were able to combine their forces and bring the State 5A soccer regional tournament to Brownsville for the next 2 years, starting next year. We have also been able to perform advertisement at a very low budget. We have already placed $36,000 worth of advertisement in Mexico via newspaper in Tampico, San Luis Potosí, Victoria, and Monterrey. We've placed about 37,000 here in the United States, Texas Monthly especially. You can't ignore the fact that Texas Monthly is expensive, but those are the type of people that have the funds that will travel and will spend money, and that's why we like to keep an advertisement in the Texas Monthly. As far as people coming to Brownsville, people have walked into the Convention and Visitors Bureau. In the last quarter, we had 1,800 in February, 2,200 in March, 1,800 in April. We have, that gave us a total of 5,900. Compared to 2009, we had 5,800. 2008 was 7,000. We'd like to get back to that if possible. But at least we're showing some growth. These people that came in, for example, in the month of January, okay, I got a lot of people. Oh, here we go. 723 hotel nights for the month of January. These walk-ins also in February, 791 hotel nights. And in March, we had 290 nights for a total of 1,800 nights spent in Brownsville by people that walked in the Bureau and register and say they were spending the night at a hotel. These are good indicators. They're coming back. Why? Because we're finally uniting and showing them that we have a lot of places to go to, attractions and what have you. Mr. P. Gonzalez earlier reported, and he had a better report than I do because he already has the month of May, but I have the data that I also collect that showed that we were at 19% below through the month of February, but now you included the month of March, and I like your data better at 12%. So I'll go with your data. As far as the internet's concerned, we had 6,474 visits. And where do they come from? I'll give you a quick scenario. We had 284 visits from 102 different cities from Canada. Now, you might not think that's a lot, but that's at least 102 people that are thinking about coming to Brownsville. We had 6,474 visits total from 62 countries and territories. From Mexico, we had 273 visits from 48 different states, or cities, excuse me. 273 visits from 48 different states. In Texas, we had 2,813 hits from 164 different cities. So what this is telling us that people are looking at us. And the more we start advertising, the more we're out there. Remember, out of sight, out of mind. And right now, our budget's a little bit low. And I understand that you all are trying to do as much as possible with the monies that you have available to help as many agencies. So we're trying our best to get our name out there. So that's what we've had for the web page. I'll entertain any questions. I don't want to take up any of your time. Mr. Gonzalez had already covered some of the information I was.
Thank you, Bean. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Ayala?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bean.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion to acknowledge? I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Troyani, second by Commissioner Zamora. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bean. Next item.
Item 13, discussion and possible action to adopt budget amendment resolution number 2010-030 to amend the Convention and Tourism Fund budget to provide $50,000 in additional funding to the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Is that my item also? Okay.
Go ahead.
Once again, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and City Commissioners. A couple of years back, the Brownsville Convention Visitors Bureau went after a golf tournament, and the purpose of this golf tournament was to put Brownsville on an international, national arena. In other words, it's a marketing tool. And people always ask, well, how much did you lose? How much did you lose? We don't lose. We're not losing. The thing is, we're investing too much. The Brownsville Convention Visitors by itself is investing too much in marketing this tournament. And last year, our budget was cut by $275,000. And one of the things that affected was the historic Brownsville Open. I'm coming back to ask the City Commission for an amendment to allocate $50,000 back to the Brownsville Convention Visitor Bureau to help us pay off or meet our debt to the historic Brownsville Open. And in case you're wondering, what has this done besides giving us publicity? Last year we had 311 room nights. This year we had 400 room nights. Last year we had 60 families. This year we also had 60 housing families. And so far they've averaged about $600 per family, or excuse me, $300 to $600 per family in hosting these players. That's money that they have spent personally to entertain the players via restaurants, shopping, et cetera, et cetera. So we're getting money put back that way. As far as the budget's concerned, we're hoping to generate at least $51,000. We came short. We're going to have $38,800. We have $29,000 worth of in-kind. We had over 300 volunteers that average 5 hours a shift for 3 days, which comes out to about $32,000 worth of man-hours. So this is a lot of things that we have put together in order to market Brownsville, but we came up a little bit short, and we're coming back to ask you, the city of Brownsville, to help us take care of this by putting back $50,000 into the Convention Visitors Bureau budget. And I'll entertain any questions.
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I understand that this was a contractual obligation prior to the funding cut, so I can probably support this, but I'd also like to strongly suggest that you create a subcommittee of sorts consisting of sponsorship and having some of those members go out there and look to supplement some of the funding that we're providing you with these events. And I think it would be a great benefit to anyone who would sponsor an event like this, because it is international, national coverage, and it's great marketing for Brownsville. I know that there's lots of discussion about whether or not we do gain a benefit from hosting or sponsoring events like this, but it's not always about heads and beds. It is to a certain extent, and of course, probably the most important thing that people look for when it comes to hotel occupancy tax. But at the same time, we are getting acknowledged on an international level, and that's very important because that brings more events, that brings more people, and that also increases our sales base. So I support it, but I also want to suggest that you create a subcommittee to raise funds for sponsorships.
Very good idea. Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Gallen?
I was at the event and delighted to be there. I also was very fortunate to host 2 young women in my home for the days during the tournament. I didn't do that last year, mostly because I didn't know about it, but this year we did. I have to say that every day that they came home with bags full of things they bought at the mall. And it might be T-shirts or trinkets or lotion and stuff like that. But they also had a massage every day at the mall. Their father took them. One of the girls' father took them to dinner almost every day. And the last day they were here, they took my whole family to dinner and picked up the tab. So I have to say that in my home, there was a lot of extra money going around that ended up in the coffers of the city of Brownsville, and it was a lot of fun on top of that. It's delightful to hear their stories. Commissioner Atkinson spoke about opportunities for college scholarships for young women in volleyball, and certainly there are lots of scholarship opportunities in golf around the country and different parts of the world for our young women. And golf is a sport that you can play here year-round, and it does attract a great deal of attention and in a very complimentary way to Brownsville.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Troyani?
Mr. Ayala, I really enjoyed the golf tournament. Went out there on Sunday, saw all the golfers, but there were also a lot of kids out there.
Yes, sir.
And that was one of the most important things because I think that it's a good event. And with the international publicity, there were the young lady from Korea who won the tournament. There was, a really nice atmosphere out there. It was a really good event, but you could see, especially with some of the younger people who had played with them, the tips that they were learning about reading the greens, etc. I mean, it was a really good event, and I would think that if we could get other organizations such as BISD, the port, some of the other entities to get involved with that, I think it's something that we should try to keep. I like Commissioner Zamora's idea about a subcommittee, but obviously we need to be a participant and not the sole source of these funds.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Atkinson?
I'd like to say a couple of things. Bean, I always support you, and especially events like this. And, Rancho Viejo, and I just learned this today at lunch, they were paid some money. And I'd like to see maybe in the future them taking some of the in-kind type bartering back where this tournament doesn't have to be so, I know Rancho Viejo has to get a lot ready for this tournament. And it was a fabulous tournament. But I would just try to talk to them and say, look, man, this is what we want to bring back next year. You got to help us here and make them a participant instead of somebody who's, because bar none, people ask me, why are you having the tournament in Rancho Viejo and not here? And the purpose of it, and I see it because if y'all go out there, Brownsville can't handle a golf tournament like that caliber here. We don't have a facility like that. We have nice golf courses here, but we don't have the infrastructure or anything close to it. But a lot of the players did stay in Brownsville, and I was happy about that. So I would like to see maybe, and I'll go with you. I'll be an ambassador for you because I'll be there for you to see what they can do to. Hey, we're also giving Rancho Viejo some notoriety. You know what I mean? They're getting some exposure out of this. So, and I went to a conference that you didn't go to because he was busy with his tournament, and if you go into this convention area and there's hundreds of events like the Doormed, which is now the LPGA, because I think that's gonna be even better for us because it's LPGA now.
It is.
LPGA just bought Doormed. So you're not gonna see Doormed no more. It's gonna be the LPGA, which is even nicer for us. But you walk into this convention area and you see hundreds and hundreds of these type of companies that do sports tourism. I mean, it's a $11 billion industry. So you go to these booths and they're like, okay, you want this tournament? It's going to be $300,000. You want this type of tournament? It's going to be $40,000. You want, and I'm like, well, we have the facility. I went up there thinking we have the sports park. What are you going to do for us? It doesn't work like that because you're getting the USA volleyball. You're getting the LPGA to come down here. It's kind of like the Bass Pro Shop going to Harlingen. They got like $40-50 million from that city to bring that. You know what I mean? The city of Harlingen just, here, we're going to give you $50 million to bring in basketball. Can Brownsville do something like that? We probably could, but it's the back end that I think we got to look at, the sales tax that we get out of this tournament, stuff like that. So I commend what you do and just let you know that, sports tourism, it's, you have to pay into it, but you get a lot back on the back end. So that's all I wanted to say.
May I say something?
Thank you. Please, go ahead.
Commissioner Triani, thank you for reminding me. We had a junior clinic on Thursday, and there was around 100 kids throughout Brownsville that were taught by 5 of the professional ladies how to play golf. And the sponsor for that clinic was Teens Helping Kids. Teenagers that raised money specifically for children events, paid $2,500 to have that event happen. Plus, the Boy Scouts, through Mr. Larry Joko, volunteered on Saturday to help at the event. So you're absolutely correct. This is touching a lot of youth. So thank you very much for reminding me of that.
Being appreciated. Again, I want to, I agree with every single thing that the commission has said. We can't lose this tournament regardless. Commitments have been made. And I realize, and I don't think we realize that, when we vote on our budgets, that was, that obviously you have to pay so much and, you have to, keep up with the contract. But with that said, I know you've also had a difficult time raising funds and, bringing, additional revenue to help support this. So we appreciate all that you do. We know that times are tough, and so it's extremely difficult. But this is something that can't leave our city. At least we can fulfill our end of the contract, because I truly believe this has done quite a bit just to hear and see the players and just all the commotion that was around town during that time. Was something. So appreciate it, Bing. Thanks for all your help.
Well, you can take a giant step tonight, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, is there a motion? There's a motion by Commissioner Gowan, a second by Commissioner Zamora. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you, Bing.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 14, consideration and action to authorize and approve an interlocal agreement between the City of Brownsville Police Department and the Brownsville Independent School District Police Department for the use of the 800 megahertz trunked radio system.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners, good evening. This is a renewal of a current interlocal agreement that we have with the school district for the use of our radio communications system. It's a 5-year agreement for the use of our radio system for approximately 100 radios at $20 per radio per month, and it's a 5-year agreement.
Has anything changed from 5 years ago, Chief? Or
More radios and the per month per radio fee.
Increase in charge?
Yes, went from 15 to 20.
Thank you.
And the city attorney's office has reviewed this agreement.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Troyani, second.
Second.
Second made by Commissioner Longoria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Item 15, consideration and action to authorize the acceptance of a supplemental grant from the Auto Burglary and Theft Prevention Authority awarded to the Brownsville Police Department for the South Texas Auto Theft Task Force project in the amount of $67,271.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners, this is a multi-agency jurisdictional task force. Of this amount, of this monies that are going to be awarded to us, there's the purchase of 2 vehicles that will go to 2 different entities, the City of Edinburgh and the City of FAR. We will be purchasing 7 portable radios along with the emergency equipment for our needs.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Troyani, second by Commissioner Longoria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Chief.
Item 16, consideration and action on resolution number 2010-031 to authorize individuals who will be authorized to sign the State of Texas purchase vouchers on request for advance or reimbursement pertaining to disaster recovery non-entitlement grant contract.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, this is a requirement for the state so we can draw down our Hurricane Dolly disaster recovery funds.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Zamora, second by Commissioner Troyani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ben. Next item.
Item 17, consideration and action to award a contract on amendment number 1 for street paving and drainage improvements for West Elizabeth Street.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners. Staff recommendation is to authorize amendment number 1 for the street paving and drainage improvements for West Elizabeth Street project of the City of Brownsville to G&T Paving Company of Brownsville, Texas, in the amount of $37,917.50. This change has resulted in an increase to the project scope for street paving and drainage improvements for West Elizabeth. This is basically for utilities. The contract time will also be increased by 10 more days, so that will make a contract, the completion date of 160 days. There's a typo, it says 30 instead of 10. Funding for this change order, it's available, and it is 100% reimbursable by the Brownsville Public Utilities Board.
Now, Rob, Mr. Luna, all of West Elizabeth is open, correct? Or no, because of this section?
I believe so. I can have.
So then the work they're going to do is, on the side is?
Some utilities requested by PUB.
I just want to say they did a great.
Infrastructure.
Just want to say they did a great job. You know, the residents in, in West Brownsville and all of Brownsville, I think, are very excited. I had to go there about 3 times back and forth because I just couldn't believe it. It's just beautiful. It's great. I want to thank G&T and city staff for really making it happen, and the federal government providing the funds to make the job. So the residents are very excited, and I appreciate everything you all are doing.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Luna.
Item number 18, consideration and action to award a term contract for architectural and engineering consulting services for the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport.
And this project, it is the intent of the City of Brownsville to procure the services of an experienced professional architects and engineer consulting firm for projects funded by the Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, Airport Improvement Program grants. Now, this selection process is being conducted in accordance with the FAA Advisory Circular 150-5100-14C and all applicable federal, states, and local regulations. The recommendation from staff is to award a term contract for architectural and engineering consulting services for the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport to the firm by the name of CH2M Hill of Inglewood, Colorado, based on the standard master agreement. Now, all the work under this master service agreement shall be performed only after the approval of a work task order that should be approved by city commission or city manager, depending on the proposed cost of the work task order as per city procurement policy. Now, this master agreement shall be for 5 years, and the city and the contractor might terminate this agreement with or without cause with 30 days prior to written notice. Funding for these services will be funded with AIP entitlement funds from FAA. So that's the evaluation committee's recommendation.
Move to approve.
So motion made by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Luna.
Mayor Pro Tem, move to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, second by Commissioner Royani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you
Commissioner,
all.
can I make a quick announcement?
Yes,
I'd like
please.
to invite the community to a grand opening of the Valley AIDS Council Youth Community Services Facility that will provide substance abuse treatment for our youth in Southern Cameron County. That will be at Thursday, May 6th at 5:30. And the facility is located on Tyler, is that correct? Which is the old Boys and Girls Club, the recreation center.
Thank you very much,
Everyone's welcome.
Commissioner.